quý vị hiểu ở đâu. Quý vị hiểu ở đâu.
Every great actor starts out as a tree. When I'm not watching your video as a hot dog or dancing to Charlie XCX, I'm reading a book.
Well, when you were younger, did you think, oh, my mom's so cool?
No, it's about me. And I chose to do Mice and Men, and I traumatized a bunch of 6-year-olds.
Drowning your throats. I don't know why I talked to him.
Why did I talk on the podcast? I was like, you've never read Rimbaud? You're supposed to be crying or laughing. I don't know if you're laughing at this. And then there were other times where it was like, stand and do nothing. And then I was like, I'm bored. At this point, they're like, oh God, just tell us what we can watch. But from my mom, I knew it was a big compliment. This is like the comments section of my Instagram.
Ladies and gentlemen, today, Kaia Gerber is with us. Actress, model, and self-proclaimed bookworm.
Yes.
Is it? So we're going to talk about that because I am not well-read, and you...
I find that very hard to believe.
I don't have much time, but you went on a journey when you left school. You left high school, right?
Yes.
And you decided, you know what? I'm going to go and I'm going to learn.
As much as I can.
Everything is it's perfect.
Yeah.
But I have to ask you this question first. So do you have a core memory, thinking back about it inside out, right? The core memory of when you realized, oh, this is what I want to do. You do a lot of things. So what in particular, the first thing that was like, oh, I want to do this, I want to be this. Was there a moment or a...
Yeah.
You remember? Okay.
I think in terms of literature, my brother is 2 years older, and he was covering Of Mice and Men for his class.
Okay.
And I was probably far too young to be reading it, but I saw that my mom was reading it with him, and I was really interested, so I started reading it with them.
Right.
And then when it came to do our book reports, I think I was probably in 2nd grade, and you could choose whichever book, and a lot of people were doing like, you know,
no, you didn't
Nancy Drew and like the Boxcar Children and stuff. And I chose to do Of Mice and Men, and I traumatized a bunch of, 6-year-olds. And,
my Lord.
But I think that was really the thing that showed me that I really loved that.
Steinbeck, great.
Steinbeck,
great,
easy
book.
sort of gateway into literature,
Yeah, heavy themes, themes.
Did you graduate school?
I did. So I went to high school, and then I went to the University of Washington in Seattle, and I was on the 5-year plan. I started with a love of acting, but didn't feel like that was something I should study. You know, I needed to go to college, I needed to study, get a career,
Yeah. Or is anyone in your family artists other than you?
Well, my mom liked community theater.
Okay.
And she could play the piano by ear. My dad was also a very good piano player. Yeah, she was one of those sit down and she could play anything. I know, it was incredible.
I'm so jealous of people.
I am too. I studied piano, can't play a thing. But she was the one who encouraged me in the arts. So tried school. I actually left school briefly to go back home, and I worked in a factory doing something horrible. And then I had a summer stock experience. And then I was like, I think this is what I should do. I think I'm better at this than I am at anything else that I'm doing. So that's how I stepped into the world of acting. You are now fully engaged in the world of acting.
Which is how we met.
Exactly
on
right.
Overcompensating.
I know.
Yeah, I was similar where like I did a lot of community theater and was always in school plays and things like that.
You were the second tree.
I was tree number 2, good research.
Yes.
Yeah,
that popped out to me.
That was my first role.
Really?
Yes.
I also was a tree.
You were in what?
Yeah. Wiley and the Hairy Man. Yeah. Children's theater.
Every great actor starts out as a tree.
I mean, you have to.
It's crucial.
Right? I mean, what is it about a tree that I think is so critical? What did you learn as playing a tree?
What I learned about being tree number 2 specifically was you still have to go to all the rehearsals. You know, it's not like, oh, you're the tree, so you get off easy.
Right.
And I think this is true for pretty much every acting job I've had. No matter how big the part is, the commitment is pretty much the same. And, and if you love it, you want to bring all of yourself to it. So I think being tree number 2, this is the part of the story I didn't tell and people don't know, but I got cast as tree number 2.
Right.
And I was so committed, and I showed up early to every rehearsal, and I knew everyone's lines, not just my one line. And they felt bad for me, I think, because they saw how committed I was amongst all these other 8-year-olds who didn't really care.
Right.
And they then gave me the role of Auntie M like 3 months into rehearsal because they were like, this poor girl is really showing up.
Wow.
So I got to do a couple performances as Auntie M.
I would have been happy just to get to be tree number 1.
I know. Well, that was what I was going for.
You were aspiring, of course.
But then when I got Auntie M, I was like, it's over.
I don't know if I see you as Auntie M, but...
Yeah, it was definitely a reach. It was a reach of a role, but I am a character actor.
Yes, you are.
Yeah,
Okay.
I
very
once
good.
had someone tell me that I was a character actor stuck in a leading actress's body,
That's funny.
which is funny and kind of maybe
but
true.
I think it's true because you have a sense of humor and you're fearless.
Thank you.
You know, and I think that's a big part of being a character actor. And you want to
Thanks.
you're more interested in creating the person,
Yeah,
right? As opposed to
absolutely.
playing yourself or a version of yourself.
Exactly.
Right?
Yeah. Do you think that you're a character actor?
Yeah, I think I
consider
am.
you.
Because I think I have
in
a
a
certain
leading
look.
actor's body.
I have a look and everything, but I've never felt comfortable in that role.
Yeah.
You know, as a leading guy, I'm like,
Yeah.
I want to do something different.
Yeah. I also sometimes find that the leads are kind of the most boring roles sometimes.
They can be.
They can be.
Yeah.
Where it's like the sort of, I guess what you'd call the secondary characters are really the interesting ones where you get to play and like
Yeah.
there's maybe more room to create something.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I feel the same way. I think you can be stoic, you know, as a leading man, but I think you can be one of the eccentrics
Yeah, it's
surrounding
fun.
the outside, which is
Yeah. What was your
is good.
first like big role?
Well, my first role ever was Noah in the church play, which of course in Noah's Ark,
Noah.
you know, in the famous
From the
famous
Bible.
story. From
Yeah,
the
yeah.
Bible, yeah,
Yeah.
that's the one. And then, but the one that really kind of turned for me, like speaking of, like, if it was a core memory, was I had dropped out of school, as I mentioned, and then that summer I went to summer stock at the Flat Rock Playhouse in North Carolina, and I found my way there through it was circuitous. I played the lead role in Look Homeward Angel, which is a play they did every year there because Thomas Wolfe was from Asheville, North Carolina. He wrote about that community, and it's his personal story.
Yeah.
And I played him as a young man, Eugene, and he's sort of the lead of the piece.
Yeah.
And it was with an equity cast and from New York, and I think I did pretty good, and I really loved it, you know.
Yeah.
And I came away feeling, oh my God, I think this is something I can do more than just in high school.
Yeah. 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 Yeah.
And that for me was kind of like, okay, that kickstarted me on the journey.
Yeah. Yeah. So you were theater before screen.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Dune was my first thing.
Are you kidding?
I'd never been in front of a camera before. I'd never done anything in front of a television before. I look at it now and I sort of laugh because I'm like, I'm clearly clueless as to what I'm doing.
But do you think because you were kind of clueless, you were fearless, or were you?
I was fearless because of my
terrified?
training. My
Okay.
training, yeah. I was still terrified, but I was.
Yeah.
I had confidence because of my training. I said,
Yeah.
you know, I know how to handle this particular character.
Yeah.
But that was more of a character,
Yeah.
and the role in Blue Velvet was more like closer to me.
Yeah. Which is sometimes scarier.
It can be very scary.
Yeah.
What's been this? Have you had something that's like really scared you that you've done?
Yeah. I mean, I'm terrified all the time with everything I do, but
It doesn't show. So there you go.
Thank you.
Yes.
That's
Yes.
pretty much all I'm focusing on is not showing how scared I am. But I just did a play, and it was my first one since, I guess, becoming a professional
Yep.
actor. And I started doing theater, so I was more comfortable doing theater, but then I had spent so much time doing screen acting jobs and going back to doing community theater. Like I did it at a little theater here
Yeah.
that was, 99 seats.
Yeah.
And there's no room to lie at all when you're doing something like that.
Yeah.
And so I think I just, it was terrifying, and it was all the things that I don't do in front of people, like cry, scream, sing, dance, like just all the
my
things
God,
that
very
you're kind
emotional
of,
journey for the character. Yeah.
yeah. And I was working with these three incredible, like pretty much strictly theater actors who
Okay.
had done so many plays.
Yeah.
So I kind of felt like in over my head, but I was so grateful for the experience because I do think as an actor, that's like the best thing that you can do for your tools.
Yeah.
Like I now go back and I'm like, how have I been working this long without having had that experience?
Yeah.
Like it's so nice that you got to do that and then go on to do Dune,
Yeah.
which is
Yeah.
a crazy trajectory.
Okay, there was like this, and then it was like this.
Yeah.
I say I didn't come from relative obscurity. I came from complete obscurity and
Into
did Dune,
that.
and then had my career has been up and down and
Yeah.
up and down. You will see
Yeah.
as you journey down this road. It's
Yeah.
fascinating and fun and frightening and
Yeah.
rewarding and everything.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
anyway, so it's nice to hear about a little bit about your journey. But
Yeah. It is so fun though. I think like it's for me because there are so many ups and downs. I was filming a TV show here and I knew I had to be in LA and I knew I wasn't going to be working every day. So I just decided to do a play at the same time, which was, I don't actually recommend that to anyone who wants to keep their mental health in order. But it was really great because I had this other thing. So I didn't feel like, sometimes you can feel like when you're working, you're just giving and it doesn't feel like,
Sure.
a full circle thing. And I think because I was getting the experience of, I'd like film all day and then I'd go to the theater and do the play, I was like, oh, like this is where they will find me out if I'm a phony, basically.
Well, you make a really good point, I think, which is when you're working in film or television, you're working with a group of actors and the camera is there. That's the receptive audience, right? But there's no way to really know. I mean, you kind of know. Yeah. And the director can be helpful or not, depending on the director. Yeah. Your other castmates can be, helpful. But it's the beauty of the theater, right? Yeah. You get immediate feedback. People are there. You can tell if they're with you. You can tell if they're not with you.
Oh, yeah. It's such a gift, though, as an actor. Like, we had this one audience it was just a school, and they had come on a Sunday afternoon, and also matinees. It's just such a different experience anyways.
Completely.
But it was a group of these teenage students who were not studying drama. They were all studying different things. So it was a lot of their first time ever seeing live theater.
Okay.
And so, there's the layer of like, are we allowed to react? Which, in theater, you want reactions. Sure. I love like the rowdier the audience, the better for me as an actor. Yeah. And they were completely bored the whole time. And it was the greatest gift. Because I think we all spoke about it after they were snoring. Some of them had headphones on.
Oh my God.
Some were just eating chips. Yeah. They were playing games on their phone. But it was like we learned more in that one performance than we did, in all the others because you can't lie to teenagers. They will find you out.
Yeah,
you have kids.
Yes, there's an authenticity there.
Yeah,
that you
and
have
I was
to have.
so grateful because I was like, I thought that joke was funny, and I now realize that I'm not delivering it right. Like I was so grateful. We had them like halfway through, and it really actually changed and impacted the show a lot.
Yeah, that's very good. I think that authenticity is such. I mean, obviously there's a generational difference between us, right? Yeah. When I was younger, you were really always very conscious or self-conscious, I guess, about how you presented yourself. You had to, everything had to look good and be perfect, and I still carry that with me. But I think recently, as I've become more engaged in social media, I realize that's not really important. What's important is that you are authentic to yourself, and that's what a younger audience is responding to, or seems to be. Do you
absolutely
agree?
I mean, I think it used to be you'd only see movie stars or people either in magazines or in a newspaper or on a red carpet. Like, you didn't see them in their homes, you didn't see them in their everyday life.
Right.
And now with social media, there's like this direct access to people. I think it humanizes and kind of levels everyone in a way that can be really helpful. Yeah. I also think your social media presence is incredible.
Thanks,
it's like Kaia. I remember when I met you, I told you that because I had been watching your videos and I was like, it's so niche and specific and funny and incredible, and like to see that it transcends generations. Like
fun.
You were coming up with things that people might wish that they had the sort of
I
creativity
did have
to come up
help.
with. I remember I asked you, I was like, please explain to me how you're pulling this off.
A couple are sitting in the room right now, Anne
Thank
here,
you,
and
on behalf
Maya
of all of
here.
us.
Yes,
Thank you.
They are, and Nora's out somewhere. Oh, is she hiding behind the screen? Anyway, this is the Brain Trust.
It's remarkable work. It truly is. It's brilliant. I've been thinking a lot about, because there's so much dichotomy on social media where, like, the other day I saw a poet and he was kind of like a Jack Kerouac type of poet, but he was on TikTok. Yeah. And then I was like, is it immediately not Jack Kerouac because he's on TikTok? But then I was like, maybe Jack Kerouac would have actually had a TikTok. Like, we don't know. And so I find it so interesting when it like transcends these different things. Yeah,
I agree. And I also love the platform. I just love the fact that there's a structure to it. There are limits to it. Yeah. And the form that you get to play with. And you get to be creative within that space, I think, is a challenge, and I find it fun.
It's so, and as an actor, to be able to create and release your own content is such a gift.
It's a huge gift.
Like, I know so many people who are just making short films and releasing them on social media, because otherwise as an actor you can feel very much at the mercy of the industry and just sort of wait around for an opportunity that like may or may not come. So I think it's wonderful for that reason too, is you actually can get your own work out there without waiting for other people to see the talent, you know?
Yeah, it's one of the big changes, I think, in the business. I remember back in the day when I was starting, you would send in an audition tape. I mean, I think people still do that, but there was no way to really let people who are casting or directors or anyone in the film business get a sense of who you are without releasing your own stuff. And you can do that on social right now. It's an amazing thing. Obviously, we talked about the fact that you are incredibly well-read. We started to talk about that.
Yes.
That is an interesting journey to me, because there are so many books that I know of that I'm saying, oh, I should know this, or even that my son is now reading at school. And I'm like, oh, you know, and it's just finding the time. And, you know, there is time. You have to make the time.
You have to make the time. But also, I think because I graduated high school early, I was 16, so while
You're not an overachiever by any means, are you?
I'm a Virgo. I was like straight A's. My school actually came to me my junior year and they were like, we have run out of classes for you, but legally you have to do another year of school. So you can either retake all the same classes or just get basically the equivalent of a GED. So I just chose to do that. But I think because I didn't go to college, so I didn't have the experience of necessarily being forced to read certain books.
Right.
So I got to choose what I was reading, which I was very grateful for. So I moved to New York after high school. I met this wonderful man named Jonah, who now has a library, which is very fitting. Perfect. And he's great. I got to like go sell books with him at a book fair last week. That's my dream. I was like, can I have your job? But he was at NYU studying literature. Okay. And he was sort of assigning his book list
like a reading list to you. Right, okay.
So he'd take me to the bookstore and he would just be like, read this. So I was gaining access to books I never would have picked up at, McNally Jackson had I gone by myself. So I started quite pretentious, I have to say. Like, I was reading Plato and Camus, and like, I remember my mom's a huge reader.
Start with the easy ones. Yeah.
I was like, you've never read Rimbaud? And my mom was like, I did that when I was 20. You'll get over it one day, and then you'll just read for pleasure. But I loved it because it was like this whole new world, and I got to choose what I was reading. And then slowly over time, I was like, I also want to read, fiction and like gripping stories. So I think that reading can feel really sort of scary and like untouchable. Right. But there is a book for everyone. And my favorite thing to do is assign reading to people based off what I think they'll like.
Oh, good. You're going to have to give me an assignment.
I will.
I started with Hardy Boys, of course.
Okay.
I was actually a really voracious reader when I was a kid. I read everything. My parents, we didn't have a huge library. They had like the Reader's Digest condensed books series. So I read like Papillon, and I read all these, I just would pull them and just find stuff, you know what I mean? I really wanted to read. Yeah. And I had my library card.
Incredible.
Do you have a library card still? Do they even have library cards anymore?
They do, but libraries sadly are dying, and I don't want them to. And now I just like, I'm constantly reading, and I think as an actor, there's so much time that you're sitting and waiting around. So there's so much time to read, and like there's only so much time you can spend on social media. I try to avoid it for the most part, unless I'm finding like your videos basically that actually bring you joy and not leave you feeling worse than before.
Thank you. That's what we try to do.
Yeah, well, that's kind of hard to find now on social media, so I think that stuff is so important.
Yeah. Thank you.
And so when I'm not watching your video as a hot dog or dancing to Charlie XCX, I'm reading a book.
Isn't she wonderful, Charlie?
Oh my gosh. Well, was that where we met? Was that the Charlie concert?
I think we were in the elevator that one time, saw you, and then, but I think that was right at that time.
That was so fun.
And she's just a delightful human.
Yeah.
And I just thought she was so talented, and then we met, and she's so gracious.
Yeah.
I was with a large group of people, and she took time and said hello to everybody, and very kind. She didn't have to do that.
And she hasn't. I've known her for a long time, and she hasn't changed at all, which is, I think, of course she evolves as a person, but like she's been working so hard for so long that this sort of what felt like overnight sort of success was so not that, which is I often feel like true people like to say, oh, it was an overnight thing, and the person that it happened to is like I've been working for her so long. And that's true for Charlie. So I think she was really ready and grounded and knew who she was. And it really was about the world catching up to her, not about her changing for the world. Yeah.
And she handles it so well, and she's such a terrific performer. She comes out with this energy.
Oh my gosh,
power.
When you see her up there, you're like, I could never approach this person. I could never. I mean,
so strong.
Yeah, so strong. Commands a whole entire arenas, and then is such a person and such a wonderful, generous person to talk to.
Yeah.
But I also wonder, like, when you have moments like that. Because I'll have, like we went and saw Charlie and it was like the whole cast of overcompensating.
Yes.
And I wish I journaled more, remembered these things more, because I'm like, that probably was a moment in your life. Was that normal at that moment in your life?
For me to go? No, I hadn't gone to a concert for so long.
Okay.
But it was really fun to be with friends. I was like, oh, this is great. So Benny and the crew, everybody was there. And it was just so comfortable and so nice. And we got to support a friend. You know what I mean? She's a new friend to me, but she's friends, with Benny.
No,
and everybody. So.
And also I'm like, will I have like kids one day and be like, I was at Charlie XCX's sweat tour,
That sounds kind of like me right now.
That's what I'm wondering. I'm like, if this might be that. Yeah.
That's so funny. Yeah. So my son is like, what, Dad? What's going on? Well, when you were younger, did you think, oh, my mom's so cool?
No. I still don't think she's cool. I mean, I think she's a really cool person.
Yes.
She's a total nerd lady. Yeah. But I will say the older I've gotten, the more I can take kind of a step back and see and appreciate what she's done. And I remember watching, they did this Supermodels documentary on Apple.
I remember, yeah.
And I watched it and I was like sobbing in tears, and I called her and I was like, I think, when she's my mom, I'm not asking her like, so why did you decide to do Playboy, or how did you do the Pepsi commercial? Like I wasn't thinking about that stuff.
Yeah.
And so to actually hear her story, and I was like, I failed to ask her all of these things. So I really, that was like a huge moment for me where I realized, especially because she didn't come from a family in the industry at all. So I'm like, how did you navigate?
Yeah.
Like, I don't know what I would do without her.
Yeah.
So there's like so much more curiosity, I think, as I've gotten older.
I think that's normal. I think that we begin to sort of look away. You no longer focus here on yourself. You focus on out in the world, and there is a curiosity about your mom.
The first 18 years are like,
I mean, there's no
me.
Yeah, there's nobody.
It's about me.
It's true.
Everything's about me.
I'm 66, and it's still all about me. No, I'm just kidding. No, you get better.
If you do it right, it's gonna always be about you.
It's just interesting to me, growing up with someone obviously so successful at what she did, that at some point in time there will be a curiosity about it. And Randy too, just about his success and and why and the choices and just as a learning mechanism. And my wife Desiree is so good at talking to our son about. She's a really good life lesson giver.
Oh, okay.
So if there's something that happens, she will frame it for him in a way that's like that. I didn't have that experience, and she just says this is actually a very good thing, and to tell you why. Yeah, he's got a great mom.
Oh my gosh,
Desiree's amazing.
What a gift.
Yeah, it's
good to have, like, my mom's quite like that. She's very much like, let's go through it together. Like, this has happened to me. Let's talk about it. And my dad is kind of more of a quiet, understanding person.
That's like me too.
But then every once in a while, like, we'll go on a walk or something, and he'll say a line to me, and I'm like, work of genius. And like, but
you were paying attention.
Yes,
okay.
But it's like, it's really, they're sort of more rare. My mom's like very much like talk into therapy, like has always been that way. And my dad is like quieter, but then he'll just drop a line that like rocks my world, and I'll think about it for, years.
I want to ask you a little bit about the modeling world, and as you're working through a series, if you're working with a photographer and you're doing a series of looks and things, and that process of telling a story and the kind of character that you develop, I find it fascinating that you actually, it is a creative journey, and you are telling a story. I mean, obviously, and you're using movement, and you're using, obviously light movement, what you're wearing and everything. Would love to hear your experience with that, from that perspective. You know?
I'm happy that you see it that way. I think a lot of people don't see it that way, but I always saw it that way. It's such a performance. And I think because I had been doing theater for so long, when I started modeling, I kind of had to view it as a performance. Otherwise, I'm so uncomfortable in front of a camera, which people wouldn't believe. But like when I do red carpets or like have to show up as myself, it's like I've never had my picture taken before. Like I'm shaking. I get so nervous.
It's nerve-wracking. I agree.
And I know so many actors who feel that way too, who are like, they get so nervous to have their picture taken. So I, even just for myself, started developing characters so that I was able to go stand and perform in front of a camera and not feel so shy, because I was really shy as a kid. And, you know, I started modeling when I was like 14. And that's scary. You have all these grown-ups looking at you and you're like, if I do a bad job, all these people's hard work is going to go to waste. And I think as a model, and I feel this way about acting to some extent, but really as a model, like you're there to showcase everyone's art. You know, it's like the photographer's art, the lighting, the makeup, the clothes are art, the hair can be art.
Like a canvas kind of everything.
And so for me, it was always like, I don't want to let these people down, and I want to tell their story and like figure out the best way that I can tell the story that everyone is here to tell. So I always would come up with little characters and little things that entertained me on set. And I would rarely tell people I was doing it, but you know, like I don't think I would have been able to confidently or even walk a runway like confidently. Like that's so not my personality. I walk into a room and I'm like this, but then you have to, you know, you are going and walking a runway and you have to look confident. So I would come up with different sort of characters. Different characters,
which I think is the journey towards acting. It makes complete sense that you would then be drawn into the world where you're now actually creating a character for a longer time period, you know?
Yeah, and the more that a photographer was like, this is the story we're telling, this is sort of who this person is, I would get really excited. Like whenever I would get to a set and there was a storyline or there was a very clear sort of idea of the story we were telling, that would get me really excited. And then there were other times where it was like, stand and do nothing. And then I was like, I'm bored and I feel uncomfortable. So I appreciate the part of it that, I think it in a lot of ways like prepared me to be comfortable and to get, you know, comfortable also living in my head with a character for a long time and sustaining that, and like also not sharing a lot of that process with people. Like I'm not really the kind of actor that's like, this is my preparation that I did and this is and some people do that and I appreciate when they do, because I like hearing how other people do it, but I don't know how to talk about it really, like what happens in my mind. And so I think I got comfortable doing that from modeling, because I would just to entertain myself like create entire people and then go be them, and oftentimes people wouldn't know, they would just think I was being myself. Right,
but you have a whole inner life going on. I also think a good editor on a shoot can be incredibly helpful as they sort of tell the story, to help tell the story.
Absolutely. You know? I think I'm also curious how you feel about this, because it used to be all film, and so I felt like there was so much, and I've shot a lot on film as well, there's so much attention on you as the subject when it's on film. And they're not obsessing over little things. And now with digital, everyone's looking at a computer screen. And so you're kind of like up there by yourself a lot of the time. And they're looking at you, but they're not really looking at you. They're looking at the clothes or the hair or whatever. So I always found that interesting, where everyone was like, I'm standing up there alone and everyone's like over there looking at a computer screen.
You're right. It has changed. When I first started, it was film and there was no video village, you know, where everyone was away looking at something. And true, when I started early with taking photographs for certain things, there was no kind of trying to look at what was already filmed and shot. It was really about, if I felt like there was, and there still is, the energy of capturing something special through the lens, which is a communication between you, the camera, and the photographer.
It's like a relationship.
And now it's kind of been, I don't know, it's been sort of weakened somehow. And similar with film. I remember working with, when we shot Blue Velvet with David, there was no monitor. He would sit right in front of the camera, usually, sometimes on the dolly or right there next to it. And he was watching exactly as close to what the lens was seeing as the operator, you know? And I think, so he was feeling it. Like the photographer would feel it and said, that's right. You know, he knows, you know what I mean?
Yeah, there was like it was an instinct thing.
Yeah. Do you have someone that you've worked with a couple times, or someone that you would consider maybe like a mentor or a partner, or?
I mean, I've never worked with the same director twice. Right. But I've worked with Rachel Sennett
Oh
quite
yeah.
a bit, and my first film that anyone saw was Bottoms.
Yep.
So I really felt like her and Emma Seligman, our director, and Io Debris were like,
Yeah.
especially in comedy, because I never thought I would ever be in a comedy.
Right.
They were like, I just learned so much. And they weren't like, let me take you under my wing, but I just watched them and learned so much from them. And then I've been on this TV show, Palm Royale. We just did a second season.
Yes.
And Kristen Wiig has been like just a dream of a mentor, especially in comedy.
Oh, I'm so happy to hear that.
She's just like the loveliest, exceeds all expectations. And I just get to watch her work every day. And I'm such a sponge. Like I just sit and kind of watch. A lot of people are like, "Are you okay?" And I'm like, "No, I'm just processing information,
learning." Yeah.
And I think especially early on in your career, it's wise to just kind of like observe as much as you can.
There's so much you can learn. I still learn working with different actors and actresses, just kind of the process. And that's one of the things I love, is just watching someone's process.
Yeah.
Sometimes it's out of curiosity. Sometimes it's out of, oh, I really like that. Or sometimes it's like, get on with it.
Yeah, or never do that. Sometimes it's, I never want to be that person on the set. And that's just as valuable, I think.
I completely agree.
Like, I'm so grateful to have had all ends of the spectrum, and I'm sure as you keep working, you just get even more and more and more.
Yeah.
Like, I work with Carol Burnett, who's just a legend. I never thought I would get to work with Carol Burnett.
Right.
She's the easiest person to work with. She's so prepared.
Yep.
She's so funny. She's so lovely. She's always in a good mood.
Yeah.
And I'm like, if anyone had any excuse to be like a total diva, Carol Burnett could get away with murder as far as I'm concerned. And she's the loveliest. So like that has been such a lesson for me. And oftentimes the people who are really incredible, people that you look up to, conduct themselves in a really kind, lovely way on set, I've found. Yeah.
She's a true pro and has been at it forever. And she comes with a tremendous amount of gratitude and skill. And I think she, it's one of the things working on a set like that, the energy of the space, the creative space is so important. It's important to me. And it needs to be a place where there is acceptance, there's freedom, there's just a creative energy that flows. And anytime that there's an interruption from that, and it can come in a myriad different types of forms, and it hasn't happened to me that frequently, it becomes not a pleasure and not creative. It becomes work and an effort, and you just can't wait to finish.
I know. And I really don't subscribe to the belief of like, it needs to be a struggle to make interesting art. And I mean,
I agree.
I really think the best art is created in a safe place. And one of the people that taught me that was Laura Duran. Like she's
great.
She is so great about having strong creative boundaries, but also being so lovely to everyone. And I really was like, oh, that's where incredible work happens, is when everyone feels safe.
Yeah.
And I wonder how much of that was learned, because like you, David Lynch, was like one of her big mentors.
Yeah. He's so my first two things were with David, and that was exactly the environment that he created, was one of safety. I went on and to work with other directors where that was not necessarily a priority, and I didn't really enjoy that. You do what you have to do, and you create your own space. You know what I mean? You adapt and adjust. But when it exists among the actors, and David is very specific about his casting, you create a little family. And then there's a real connection and joy and love that's just innate in that environment. And it's such a place that I love to work from.
It's so funny too, because like when I did the play, I was like, God, this is going to be so hard for my parents to watch. So I was playing a woman who was really suicidal, had a lot of anxiety, and like I'm a firm believer of like, you don't become other people necessarily. It's just like you dial up or down different parts of yourself.
Sure.
And I was like, this is going to be really hard, especially for my mom to watch, because I give like a suicide voicemail to my mother that's really upsetting. And my first thing going in, I was like, how am I going to cry every night? And then suddenly I was like, how am I going to stop crying after this scene? Yeah. And on opening night, my parents were there, and I was like, I just was, doing the voicemail, and I knew my mom was in the audience, and I was just like, oh gosh, my poor mother. Yeah. And I got off stage, and I was like, are you okay? She's like, that was great. You're so brave. I was like, but like, did you cry? And she's like, no. I was like,
you're like half hoping she would, half hoping she wouldn't.
She's like, well, I knew it wasn't you. I'm like, yeah, but you weren't moved to tears. She was like, no. But that's why it's kind of fun to have parents who are not actors. Is like they just think I'm insane for doing what I do.
Right. Right. I think you're incredibly brave.
Oh,
it's incredibly brave.
Yeah.
You know.
Which as an actor coming off stage, you don't necessarily want to hear that was brave. But from my mom, I knew it was a big compliment.
Yes.
But from anyone else, I would have been like, thank you.
Okay.
Yeah.
Were you moved?
Yeah. That was
the
brave. Yeah.
It's so interesting that you were more concerned about how she might feel than.
Oh my gosh. Yeah.
Which is, I think.
And she was fine.
Yeah.
Truly, not a tear fell.
Yeah.
She was completely fine.
Got to give your mom more credit. It's like, okay, now she's fine with that. That's good.
No, but they can handle it. They're pretty, they can handle it. I think at this point, they're like, we can pretty much handle anything.
Yeah. Good.
Yeah.
That's a good sign. You're doing something right.
Well, I think they are doing something right.
All right, books to film.
Mm-hmm. They're starting to do film first.
Right, and then write the book after.
And then write the book after, which is interesting. Adapting books, especially really beloved IP, is scary because it can go south, as we've learned.
Yeah. It's not easy.
No, but then there's also like incredible examples, and like I really think the marker of a successful adaptation is anyone who hadn't read the book, watches it, and then wants to read the book. Yeah. Like I think Call Me By Your Name was a great example of that. A lot of, especially in the US, a lot of people hadn't read that book and then went on to read the book after the Luca Guadagnino film. So I think similarly about Normal People, like I had read that book when it came out and then I loved the adaptation and then I read it again. And a lot of people like just watched the TV show and then read the book. So I think that's sort of for me, the marker of a successful adaptation. Yeah. Have you done any adaptations?
Well, Dune was my first film, and that was a book.
That's a scary one too, because that's like a huge piece of IP.
When I went to see the new Dune with Timothy, I was with some trepidation because I said, "Oh, it's gonna be the only Dune, and our Dune's gonna be put on the shelf." And then I watched it, and I said, "No, actually, I think there's room for both of these.
They're so different.
They're
so different.
And it's the same, it's the same story, but they look different, they feel different, the energy is different. They cover different territory than some of the territory that we covered. The books, there's so much in there.
Oh my gosh, it's a thick book.
It's just, it's incredible.
Heavy.
And it covers so many possible themes and everything.
Yeah.
So
that's one of the beautiful things about adaptations is a lot of the time it's up to the filmmaker or the writer to decide what lane they want to take and like what approach, because you can't. I think it's very rare that a strict adaptation is successful.
Right.
Because they're different mediums for a reason. And so many of my favorite books are so internal. Yeah. And then you think about, okay, let's adapt this, and then you're like, but nothing actually really happens in the story. A lot is happening up here.
That's one of the problems with Dune, actually, because it's very internal.
Yeah.
And we tried to solve that with these voiceovers.
Yeah.
But it's a very difficult challenge.
That's one of, I think, the traps of adaptations is that a lot of the great pieces of literature are so internal, and then you go to write an actual narrative story and you realize there's not really enough to sustain 2 hours. But I think like what I loved about also the new Dune is a lot of people then went back and watched your Dune.
Yeah, they both exist now in a similar
and they're so
universe.
different. And also even just with like CGI now and how huge it is, and like so much, your film was so practical, which is I think magical in its own way. Like I think that they're so I love seeing all the different interpretations.
That's sweet. Different interpretation and different level of sophistication in terms of the process. Tell me about this. The Shards.
Yeah, speaking of adaptations, I am doing an adaptation of The Shards, which was like doing a book that I read when it came out and was obsessed with. It's Bret Easton Ellis, who I'm such a fan of. I've read everything he's done, and the book came out like 4 or 5 years ago, and I was obsessed with it. And it's also very LA. I grew up here, and it's so specific about like I took Sepulveda down, so reading it while being here was just really like nostalgic for me for a place that I am, and and it's a book that I love, and Ryan Murphy got the rights and is adapting it.
Great.
And
did he reach out to you? Did you?
He called me. It was very kind of like the synchronicity of it all was really, sometimes things just happen where you're like, this all worked out just as it should. And so I read the book when it came out. I met with Bret about something else, but we just had a meeting, like a general meeting. We were talking about this other thing, and he was like, and I just was like, I just have to say, like, I love The Shards. I'm such a fan. And he was like, oh my gosh, you you would be great in it. And I was like, well, I don't know what you're doing with it, but if you ever do anything with it, I will do whatever you want. Let me audition. And he was like, okay, I'll remember that. And then Ryan Murphy, who really gave me my first job on American Horror Story, called me and was like, do you know this book, The Shards? And I was like, yes. And I was like, I've actually met Brett years ago, and we talked about it. And he was like, well, I was talking to Brett about it. I'm going to get the IP, and we both brought your name up at the same time. And it was like this really incredible, I'm like honored that they thought of me. I didn't, when I was reading it, like I just was like, I want to be in this world, even though it's full of horrible, horrific, you know, serial killers. I was so drawn to it. It's like one of those books. What's been so touching to me is when they announced that they were adapting it, how many people reached out and were like, I love this book. Even people that I don't necessarily think consider themselves readers or bookworms found that book and really like just consumed it. So I think that book kind of like hooks you and just swallows you in a good way.
I know you like Shakespeare. I like Shakespeare.
Yes.
I have an idea of something that we can do together that should be a lot of fun. So stay tuned. We're going to have a little Shakespeare Fest here. Shakespeare Festival.
Okay.
You and me.
Yeah.
Okay.
I'm going to get found out. Oh gosh.
Here we go. So this is a little segment we came up with called The I Roast, Shakespeare's best insults.
Ooh.
Yeah, so go ahead on
I don't want to insult you.
your scroll. Oh, once I hit you with my first one, you're going to want to insult me.
Oh.
Okay, here we go. There's no more faith in thee than in a stewed prune.
Oh.
Go ahead, do your best.
Out of my sight, thou dost infect mine eyes.
Ooh, mean. I thought you were a nice person.
Oh, they actually get more evil as
You are as a candle, the better burnt out.
Oh.
Did that hurt?
If I cry, you can cut it out.
Okay.
More of your conversation would infect my brain. You're supposed to be crying or laughing. I don't know if you're laughing at this.
No, because I agree.
Not funny.
Here is the babe, as loathsome as a toad.
I think my ex once said that to me. The tartness of his face sours ripe grapes.
Oh, that hurts.
It's
especially
not true
as a
about you.
winemaker. Your brain is as dry as the remainder biscuit after voyage. I'm so sorry.
The comment section of my Instagram.
This is Shakespearean Instagram. Here we go.
Wouldn't it be nice if the haters had to comment in Shakespearean language?
We should encourage them.
Yeah.
I like that.
I am sick when I do look on thee.
Sometimes simple is the best.
Sometimes it's about a dry reading.
Oh, thou art a boil, a plague sore. Ooh, that's really mean.
Thou, lump on foul deformity.
No one's ever called me lump before.
Lump. No one ever called me boil.
Thank you for playing, Kaia.
Thank you.
You are very skilled in the art of insult throwing.
Thank you. I think we should do a revival of Romeo and Juliet.
Oh,
perhaps.
I think that's a great idea. I know that play well. Okay. I can't thank you enough for being my guest here on the show. What are we even doing? And especially after that last skit. What
are we even doing?
Dressed like this? Your Shakespeare is unparalleled.
Thank
Perfection.
You. Thank you.
May you one day do Juliet. I think that would be really wonderful.
I'm going for nurse, but we'll see. We'll see what happens.
That's the character actor. Anyway, it's been a real pleasure.
Thank you for having me.
I've enjoyed the conversation.
Me too.
So we'll catch up soon.
I'll see you whenever Charlie XCX is back on tour, probably.
Yes. All right. Back to the concert. I love it. And so where we're going to find you next?
The Shards.
Okay.
That's my next thing.
Okay. I'm very excited.
And Palm Royale Season 2.
Okay.
With Carol Burnett and Laura.
And Laura.
Our beloved Laura.
I think I should come visit.
Please.
That would be fun.
Please.
Carol Burnett has always been...
Have you met her?
I've never met her, but I grew up with her comedy. She and Tim Conway.
They're the best.
And Harvey Korman.
Oh my gosh.
Just really do it for me.
And it still holds up, I have to say.
Yeah.
It really is still so funny.
It's a great show.
Yeah.
All right.
Well, thanks for having me.
Thank you so much.
Yay!
Thanks, Kaia.